Okay, cool. And we're back. Is the thing in here that I'm trying to do? Where the fuck is it? Okay, so I downloaded this filter so I could like flip. Wow. Wow. Where is it? Oh man. Okay. Well, this is kind of crazy, but I think it just is what it is. Hi, I love you too. Okay. Can I search for this thing? Hmm. Alright. Well, okay. Hi, how are you? Alright. I'm gonna put this over here. Okay, so, can you all, I'm gonna be sitting kind of far away. Can you see my guitar and stuff? Let me know if you can or if you can't. Is it just impossible with the chat shit going up? Should I stand up maybe? Okay. I thought also I was gonna have this thing that is on my own Instagram, this filter that flips the camera around so I'm not playing backwards, but that's not gonna happen. So, because I can't get it to work on Pace Magazine's Instagram. So somebody just let me know. Looks good, sounds good. Okay. Chat is in the way. I guess I'm gonna turn the chat off. Standing's better. Okay. You can see the guitar fine. Okay. Yeah, I guess I gotta turn the chat off. That seems weird. Sorry about that. I know the chat's a fun aspect of it. Maybe if I move it down here, it'll be good. Okay. Well, now you can't really see me, but that seems okay. Okay, that's a little bit better. Yeah, so I can tell you that last time I taught anybody how to play anything. Here, how's that? Does that work okay enough for anybody? This fucking chair is just a little too short to be perfect in this situation. But you know what? I can just tilt this up a tiny bit. Oh, there we go. Okay. Is that better or worse? Tilt it down a tiny bit. Maybe that's the fucking move. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I just want my fretboard to be visible for anybody who's trying to learn. Last time I tried to teach any sort of musical lesson, I was filling in for Matt Keegan, who plays in the music industry at this like music school in Queens. And there were these two twin like 5-year-olds learning how to play piano. And it's like, you know, basic stuff. And I was like, okay, so here's Mary Had a Little Lamb or whatever exercise they were supposed to do. And also their dad was just sitting in there with them. And one of them just like went up to the piano and played like da 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 da, and then just stopped and did that for a while. And I was like, okay, well, maybe let's try and play the whole thing. And then that happened for 15 minutes while their dad stared at me. And then 15 minutes later, it happened. Then the other twin came up and played less of the song, and that happened. So that is my last experience trying to teach anybody how to play anything. So maybe this will be better. I'm sorry my guitar is backwards. I really wanted to do a thing to fix it. Anyway, so let's start with Scram. First of all, thanks for watching. Thanks for popping in here. I hope this is a good thing. I don't know. Yeah, when Pace asked me to do a tutorial, I was like, I don't really know how to do anything except for play music. So here we go. All right, so Scram is not too strange a song as far as like chords and stuff go. When I was writing it, it just kind of felt like, I don't know. It was a very quick, it came quick, just kind of like a Motown-y bop, like just kind of like a, I don't know, just felt like a really sassy song. And I kind of generally try to spice stuff up, I guess when I'm writing, because maybe I just get bored with like weirder chords and stuff like that. Just chords that don't really belong there. So Scram is a song that mostly just has like, you know, basic power chords and shit like that. But there's a few weird ones. So for example, the first little riff is like this kind of, the first verse is like this. Can you see? I've been told. Well, I'm not going to sing. That's weird. Okay, so. So I guess that's the weird part, is that instead of just going, I did a weird, like, making that chord major just for that one. So that's that riff. I'll get a little closer for it. So. And there's another part in it where basically the song should go like but I kind of want to fuck it up and make it bad, so instead of doing that, it goes so like this weird G and F chord in there. There's also another point in the song where it goes down to down to a C chord, which isn't in the key or isn't in the song. All this stuff is just kind of, I don't know. When I hear songs that do that, I'm like, oh, cool, they got me. It's just like trying to get that thing that like kind of fucks you up when you listen to it. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna just run through playing it. Let me know right now if I should sing. I think it's going to be worse if I sing. I'd rather just play it through, but also I am here for you out there. Should I just play it, show you how it goes? Oh, also, I guess there is this other one weird part that I'm probably not going to play. Oh, okay. There is another thing. There's like a... also, Mike does leads in this song that I don't do, but there is this one lead where it's just kind of this, like... whammy-ish. And then it does that. So that's all the basic elements of the song. I'm going to just play it through, and let's see if you like it. Mike does this like, I don't know how to play it. Some of those weird chords. then, yep. Cool. Okay, I could tell you that the pedals I'm using right now, they're not necessarily the ones I use on the record. I'll bring it down here, though, so you can see. Okay, so this is just kind of like my basic Craig of the Creek setup. Here, I can flip the camera around. That'll be easy. Here, this is what I'm fucking with right now. So I love this Hall of Fame reverb pedal. It's great. It's got this cool ass setting, this mod setting. Everything's all smashed off because I play bad. But it just kind of like not only adds reverb, but it gives it, Jesus, this is an insane thing to do. Gives it like this kind of chorusy sheen on it, which I really like in there. It's kind of like, there's been a long time where I, like in Bomb especially, like I did not use any pedals at all. I was just like into a tuner, maybe into the amp, because I think it's good to be expressive the way that you're playing, instead of just relying on pedals. But then, and so I kind of just figured, like, if I'm going to have a reverb, it's going to be kind of cheesy. So I just want to be able to have that. I love having that chorus in there. So it just adds that like extra layer of kind of like cheesy, but also just really hazy sounding stuff. It's cool. This is an Earthquaker Space Spiral pedal. I like it. It's neat. You could do fun stuff with it. I use this mostly for Craig the Creek stuff. I don't use it too much in my band, but you know, it does that fun shit. This is a Mooer chorus pedal. It is Ensemble King. I love this thing. It was like $50 and it just gives a really nice chorus sound. And I like a cheap pedal. This is a Tremolo pedal. I barely use it in my band, but I use it on Craig of the Creek all the time. This pedal, you know what it does. It goes blah, 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 blah. This pedal, Rick Johnson, our front of house, also Mustard Plug bass player, and Sharkanoid, great guy, built me this pedal. It rules. It's like one of my favorite. It's just a very good, look, man, I don't know how to do anything. It's just a good, like, easy to use, doesn't fucking get in the way too much. Like, good overdrive. On our records, I use the Way Huge Fat Sandwich a bunch and the Earthquaker Acapulco Gold a bunch. But that pedal is just like, it's clean enough and it's cool. I also have this guy, which is my favorite distortion pedal, but as you can see, I have beaten it to shit. And then I've got this newer, like, green Big Muff. I like it a lot. It's cool. I like it because, I mean, not only do you get, like, a really good, thick, like, buzz on it, but it just kind of, like, I don't know, it just sustains for so long. It's cool. It doesn't really feed back. It's weird. None of these pedals that we're looking at right now feed back, and I feel like the main thing that I'm doing all the time is just trying to get feedback to happen instantaneously, but just because this is like my Craig of the Creek setup, I'm not usually using too much feedback on that show. Anyway, so that's my pedal board. I didn't expect to do that. I'm back. Okay, cool. I hope that was interesting. I don't know, man. Okay. So what pedals do I use for the mantras? Okay, so on like Novelty Sweater, that's probably... so for a really long time, I was using this modded DS1 distortion pedal, which I loved, but then we got robbed, and this is another thing that, like, Rick Johnson, our front of house and, like, old friend and just very nice guy, did. I don't have a tripod, by the way. I just have this leaning up against a comic book. Yeah, he modded out a DS1 for me that was kind of perfect, and is like the Keeley mod, I believe it's called, but I don't know if he like fucked up the one that he did me, but it just always sounded like the guitar was breaking and on fire. So I used the shit out of that pedal, and then it got stolen, and I tried another modded DS1, and it was like fine. So for that one, for Novelty Sweater, it was probably the DS1, and Jack has like a modded rat in his studio, which I use a lot, which doesn't sound anything like a rat to me. But for a lot of like the nasty shit, it's just always been this guy. I got this to replace that DS1, which was basically like, what's a slightly more expensive pedal, I guess, that could do the same thing that like this kind of shitty ass pedal does. And, you know, couldn't get it cheap. I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of that. Also, something to consider a novelty sweater, which is that's a good question. So, and not on any of these songs that we're talking about here, although I guess Scram is maybe kind of like this. It's hard to think about it because I've been playing all these songs on acoustic guitar for these live streams. And that's not how the songs go. So I'm kind of like relearning them right now. Anyway, so for like the really heavy stuff, especially on We Cool a lot and Worry, and Still, from Bomb Music Industry learning a bunch of Weezer songs and playing them, I realized that something that they do is they just stay below the 5th fret all the time. And instead of like, so Novelty Sweater could go. But it sounds a lot tougher if you just invert it. And try and just stay low the whole time. So, in addition to a baritone guitar, the regular guitar is just going. Sorry, I haven't played this. So this like little inversion here, instead of playing a power chord like this like D flat power chord, it's inverted, so it's this way. So, and then another one that you could do is just kind of, instead of playing up there, you could throw this lower note in here and invert it, so, and up down. So that Novelty Sweater riff is kind of like, and then, oh god, I haven't played this. So it's always just kind of about trying to stay below the 5th fret. I bet I figured out inversions to stay down there. And it's not really like a hard thing to figure out. Like it might seem more complicated than it is, but at the end of the day, it's just like, you know, you have a major chord or a minor chord. It's still just kind of punk chords, just instead of being like, it's like, oh, this note's here, you put it down here. Or you put it down here. So that is that. Okay, this is cool. Somebody said something about I've had a Fender DeVille for a really long time. I mean, I think tube amps are great. I record through Ampeg V4. I've used Vox AC30s. I like them a lot. But right now I'm using a solid state amp, which is this Quilter, this like fucking tiny ass amp, and this is what I use for international touring, and I love it. It's this Quilter 101 mini reverb. It's really small, it's pretty cheap. I have it plugged into my Fender DeVille and like bypassing the amp right now, just because like it's easy when I'm working on Craig of the Creek to just pop over. I don't know where to put the fucking thing. I'm sorry that like I'm also an anxious person as I'm trying to do this. Thanks for working with me here. It's easy because it's just like my amp sits on my desk. So if I need reverb, I could just turn the reverb up. I don't think it sounds like better than a tube amp would sound, but it sounds pretty fucking close. And that's a pretty sick thing when you're doing international touring, and you're just like, I'm not giving you a studio tour, Mark. This is the studio. Yeah, when you're doing like international touring, a lot of the time you just get whatever amp you get. And that's really stressful, but touring with a big heavy amp, flying with it is impossible. So it's cool to have this tiny little guy behind me that I could just plug into a cab and it sounds like, 90%, 95% as good as a tube amp, and it doesn't break. So I like that thing. That's the answer to the amp question. Should I play another song, or should I just go through stuff? What do you guys want to do? I figured I'd play songs, but like, I kind of just want to have a backup plan. I could show you how to do a thing. Thanks, Rob. I like this guitar a lot. Okay, I'm gonna play a song. So I'll show you how to play Beauty of Breathing. This is another one where it's like, it could have been more normal chords, like when you hear a melody in your head, and you try and figure it out. And then me and Kevin, particularly, our drummer, are always talking about like when a band throws in what we call the J-pop chord, which is just like a lot of the time like Japanese pop music or Japanese punk music. It's just like a chord that instead of a power chord, they like throw in a 7 or throw in a 9 or something. And this song is just like, that's all over the place. So let me show you how I'm doing them. So this is basically how the verse goes. And this one's a 7. So instead of just your standard, it's just thrown in this, which just makes it sound dreamier to me. And it's really like, all this shit I'm doing is not that fucking hard to do. It's just like trying to add like that extra little bit of sauce in there. And then like, of course, the chord, which I feel like I overuse all the time, is that major 7 of the chorus. So that's just like, and that's a movable chord, so you could dream on wherever you want. But I feel like Neil Young uses that a lot. It's always just like, I don't know, that chord just feels like a breath of fresh air to me. I feel like every Antarctica Vespucci song is just like only those chords, because it just makes it feel, I don't know, it adds a certain amount of emotional weight to it. And then also with this song, something that I learned from watching my friend John Garwacki's band Slow Warm Death play, is that it is basically like the shoegaze method of playing guitar, which is where you ride the whammy bar. So instead of going like, you do this thing where you go, and instead of, I feel like a lot of the time in like our more kind of slow, fuzzy power pop songs, that is something that I'm trying to do. I love the way that sounds, and especially when you put some fuzz on it. Or some chorus. Yeah, so that's kind of the main tricks there. There's a few riffs in that song. Like there's the one, I walk outside and people say. So that's just kind of like riding this 5th fret up while you're playing the chords. And then Mike does a cool riff there. I don't know how to play it. And what else is in there? Oh, and there in the second verse, I do a thing that's like, it's kind of, just adding that little, you know, just a little something in there. Yeah, there's some other kind of small things in the song, but I guess mostly it's just all about the chords and the strumming pattern. The strumming pattern in particular, I wanted this song and Leave It in the Sun both. I feel like they could sound kind of soft in a way, or I don't know. I just I just want, if I'm listening to like fuzzy punk shit, I want it to be like beating the shit out of me all the time when I'm listening to it. So instead of doing like this song and Leave It in the Sun are all just all downstrokes, all 1, 2, 3, 4, not like a ton of like rhythmic diversions or anything like that. Because I wanted, when those rhythmic diversions came in, for it to feel like a breath of fresh air. Yeah. And then also, I guess there's this one that, and that's in that second pre-chorus. I don't know where the choruses or whatever are. Anyway, I'm going to play it through, and maybe it'll be helpful. Here, there's Beauty of Breathing. Okay, so... Oh yeah, the fucking main riff! Okay, here's how you play the fucking bulk of the song. Okay, I'm up here. So that's the main riff of the song, which I almost forgot. It starts on the 4th fret, and just one more time. Okay, cool. And that's the most of it. I'm going to play it, and this is how it goes. Okay. And also, that is like intentionally played super clean so that when the fuzz comes in, it's just like nasty on those hits. I think, man, I wonder, I don't remember, but I feel like we might have ran the guitars direct fuzz through in addition to the guitars that we tracked live through amps, just to make it really, really nasty sounding. I know that's something that I do at home a lot. I forget if we did it when we're in the studio. Jack is very good at just making shit sound crazy without doing anything like that. Okay, so here it is. pretty much it. That's about as well as I would ever play it live at a show. When we record our records, I practice a lot beforehand so I could play it right. Okay, how's anybody? You don't need a pedal and whammies, whoever's saying that. Like, I don't know. The whammy is a cool thing, but like, I don't know. I didn't have any of this shit for a really, really long time, and I feel like it didn't affect how I wrote songs at all. Maybe just, I don't know. To be quite honest, like, Fender started letting us get instruments for cheap, which is really cool, so I could, like, afford to get this fucking guitar that I probably would not have gotten anyway. Anyways, all I'm saying is, you know, play with what you got. I heard a story that Eric Clapton showed up at a recording studio and played a bowl of tortilla chips, and it sounded just like a Les Paul. So, you know, it's really all about your fingers. Okay, what about now? So I'm gonna do 80s through 50s, and I'm gonna do old crap. I guess somebody was talking about strumming patterns. That's a good spot to talk about in old crap. Yeah, so this strumming pattern's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's one that I default to. It's something that when I recorded the demo, our band had been on tour for like years and years in a row. So we were playing really fast live. So like, I feel like, so Get Old Forever, the song Get Old Forever, is a pretty similar pattern, but it's like, God, that's a, that's still pretty fast. I don't feel like it's recorded that fast, and then just like as our band toured more, it just became more like... So Old Crap is kind of a similar rhythm there, and I recorded the demo like while we were touring a lot, and then when it came time to record it, I remember like playing along to the demo to try and just like relearn it, because I had recorded the demo like a year before and just being like, fuck, I'm slow now. This is crazy. Where at the time I was just like, oh, this is just a normal speed to play it. So anyway, this song is mostly bar chords. I don't think there's any weird ones in here. There is like this there's this. So there's like a tremolo-y guitar part. I'm not going to play it super well just because I'm out of practice. And I'm pretty sure Mike does this now. It's pretty sick having your favorite guitar player in your band. Thanks, Mike, for always doing good things. I didn't turn my phone into Do Not Disturb mode again. Anyway, so there's this riff. And the picking there is... So that's kind of how you play that riff. And then there's another, like, this thing that's kind of like the Nirvana song Radio Friendly Unit Shifter, where the guitar just kind of goes apeshit with the whammy and just kind of riding on notes, kind of similar to Scramble. So that's that little bit. And the rest is pretty much bar chords. So I'm going to play it, and then I don't know, hopefully that translates into you understanding what I'm doing. This is how you play Old Crap. Major 7 there, so... it doesn't do that yet. Oh yeah, okay, so one of the coolest things for me about this song is this part of the song, which I just skipped. So after it does all that crazy strumming, just rings out these chords real nice so your arm can get a rest from doing all this dumb shit. Ah, isn't that nice? And then back into the stupid. And the skate punk part is nice because you get to take a break again. So this is this part where me and Mike alternated on the record. Also, this is a major chord. I keep playing around, but that's the spot where me and Mike alternated on the record, and we had a fun hour at practice where we were just counting and trying to get it right, and then we got it right. But it seems insane to play on a guitar alone. Anyway, so back into it. And this is weird. And then easy. Okay, this is where that riff. Okay, so I'm just going to go over that part again real quick. So it's just a simple thing of like trying to make it sound, trying to have this repeating part that sounded good the whole time, that didn't get boring. So it's just about adding some weight and hopping up, hopping down. So that like little bridge thing where that radio friendly unit, that like, where that's happening, the guitars and the bass are going. And then nonsense. First time the person was still. And then down. Cool, there you go. And I guess kind of when it comes to playing fast, like with your right hand like that, it's just about playing a lot. It's just about practicing a lot. I fucking hate practicing, honestly. But if you want to play fast, you gotta just build up the strength in your hand to do it. And that's just the shitty ass truth behind it. Okay. Any other questions? I'm gonna play one more, but just in case anybody wants to know anything else about how to play, I don't know. Hi Laura, it's good. Okay, so I'll go through 80s through the 50s. This is an older song. I believe I was probably listening to just so much fucking Rilo Kiley at this point. The record More Adventurous. If it's song requests, I already kind of went through, believe it or not, I went through just to make sure that I remember all the little things in these songs that people requested in the comments earlier. So sorry. Maybe I'll do another one of these someday though. Yeah, so there's a song on the Rilo Kiley record, More Adventurous, called Does He Love You? Where it's like, it's a pretty simple chord progression, but just the way that they utilize passing tones and passing chords and is just kind of gives it this motion where it feels like where for me as a listener, it feels like you're kind of like on the ride, you're on the wave, you're in the story, you're being pulled to and fro, and it's something cool to do to a kind of simple chord progression. or not even simple, just something to make a song more interesting. And so I was thinking about that when I was just kind of going through the parts earlier. Yeah, I was listening to that record a lot, and this was kind of a bit of a nostalgic feeling song to me, so I think that I kind of had that vibe. Anyway, there's actually, I don't know if there's a lot of major sevens in this song, Point Omega. Imagine that. This is when I used to just have my old trick was the minor 4, but in this song is two very Death Rosenstock code word songs. I believe one of them we stole from Sean Burnett, but basically it's like diminished chords and inverted major chords. One of them being the dragon chord, one of them being the reverse dragon chord, which are particularly, I use them a lot when I'm using passing chords. So the dragon chord, so say you are going like, instead of going like, well, when would I use it? So, yeah, so say your chords are a dumb chord progression, but you would use it like this. So, and then you kind of go work a staircase in here. And the song Twinkle uses that kind of stuff a lot too. And then there's the reverse dragon chord, which I think is just like, I try to think of like why, I just always want to use these chords that sound a little bit weirder. And I only know a few of them. Anyway, the reverse dragon chord, so how this one's like a staircase, so like you're on 3rd fret, you go 3, 4, 5, 6. For the reverse dragon, you go 3, 6, 5. There you go. And if you're lucky enough to be on the 5th fret, you could go 3, 6, 5, 4, and then... And that's a pretty sounding chord, which is equal to, which if you were just playing it normally, would just be this chord. But if you flip it around, it's still the same chord. Okay, so those are some chords in the song that I use a lot. There's also, I think there might be like where you just kind of drop this. So if you're playing a D chord, 5, 7, 7, you just drop your root finger down to the 7 over here and do some pretty stuff. I don't know, that's definitely an old crap. I forget if it's on this one or not. Anyway, this is what the main riff is in the song. Whoa. Oh, I should probably... Okay, I'm going to stand a little bit further back so you can see all of what I'm doing. Okay, so, oh man, people started leaving when I started playing that riff. Sorry, losers. Okay, so I'm gonna go through that slow. It starts with just like the top part of an A major bar chord, but it just kind of arpeggiated a little bit. And it's kind of important to have that sharp staccato thing there, because it just makes it feel more 50s-y to me. More like, I don't know. Laura said sleepwalking. I think about like the song Odana a lot, or just like dumb, stupidly like the songs that the Wonders are playing in their garage before Guy Patterson joins the band. And it's just kind of like slow shit. You're like, nah, let's rock. I'm like, I want to get slow. Anyway, and then you have this F sharp minor chord. But I guess because I felt like bragging or something, it kind of inverts its way up the fretboard. So just kind of show those again. And then there's that little riff then. So that's kind of the bulk of the song. There's some like that's the thing where like it drops down the root and then does that dragon chord. That kind of happens during the big part at the end. I wanted it to feel like it was really pulling you. I don't know if I was really, maybe I'm just thinking about that after having written it. I think at the point I was just like, I don't know. That's like kind of the emotional crux of it to me. So I was like, try to make it heavy, I guess. I don't know. I'm just going to play through it. How about that? Oh, also there is this one weird part where there's where it steps back and forth between the reverse dragon and the dragon in a thing where like, man, sometimes I listen to my demos when we're trying to learn these songs to play, and I'm just like, what the fuck chord was I playing? Anyway, here this is. Man, that's always a fun move. Imagine I'm a keyboard instead of a guitar. This next part is literally a part of a Quasi song. Sorry, Quasi. My favorite trick to make sad music. Minor! And this one, like that very last one, is a 7. Cool. And I'll leave it unresolved there. Thank you very much for watching this. I hope it was informative. I hope it was good. I hope that you're doing okay. It's a very, I always laugh when I say this because it just always feels ridiculous. how crazy bad and fucked up things are. But just hope everyone's staying sane and staying good. Spill the Quasi song. It's a song called "You Fucked Yourself." Yeah, love y'all. Thanks for watching. And yeah, thanks for all the support on the new record and everything. It's making all of us very happy. It's a kind of a bummer that we can't play any shows right now, but it's been really nice seeing everybody's response. So thank you very, very much. Love ya. And if I could just hit end from here, I would. But here comes the awkward part where I put my zit mask face in the phone.
What do you want to think? Andy, you sure?